Yeah, well, we could, alrighty. Yeah, I think we are coming live now. Welcome. This is the Instant Shakespeare Company. My name is Paul Sugarman, and today we've got a very special presentation, The Guilty Mother by Beaumarchais, with Stephen Brown, the playmaster, and it was, so take it away, Stephen.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, this is Pierre-Augustin Caron de Beaumarchais, who lived from 1732 to 1799. He was, by profession, a watchmaker, inventor, playwright, musician, diplomat, spy, publisher, horticulturalist, arms dealer, satirist, financier, and a revolutionary, both French and American. He's most famous for a trilogy of plays about the loves and lives of the Count Almaviva and his later wife, Rosina. The three plays are called The Useless Precaution, or The Barber of Seville, which was first performed in 1775, and most famous because of two operas, one by Paisiello in 1782 and more famous by Rossini in 1816. The second play is called The Foolish Day, or The Marriage of Figaro. That came in 1784 and is most famous because of the Mozart opera that came out in 1786. The third play is known as The Other Tartuffe, or The Guilty Mother, written in 1792 as a homage to Molière and his play of 1664, Tartuffe. This too has been turned into operas by Darius Milhaud in 1966 and the American composer John Corigliano at the Metropolitan Opera in 1991, where it was entitled The Ghosts of Versailles. At different times, when in their first creation, the second and third plays were both banned, Figaro by King Louis XVI and The Guilty Mother by the then governing French revolutionaries. So Beaumarchais was a fascinating, if untrustworthy man who tried to play both sides. Moving right along, introduce the cast. Mick, introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, my name is Mick Blyer. I'll be playing Le Comte d'Almaviva, Count Almaviva.
Anna?
Hi, I'm Anna Cody. I'll be reading the Countess Almaviva.
And Sean?
My name is Sean Buckley, and I'll be playing their son, Leon.
And Taylor?
I'm Taylor Lynn, and I'll be playing Florestine.
And Tony?
Good day to you all. My name is Tony Scheinman, and I'll be playing the part of the villain, Honoré Tartuffe Béjars.
Ben?
Bennett Pology, I'll be Figaro.
And Paula?
Paula Hosa, I am Suzanne.
And David?
I'm David Cedar. I am Maitre Fall, the notary.
And Asher?
I should say.
I'm Asher Susswine, and I'm reading Guillaume.
And thank you very much. The play takes place in Paris in the residence occupied by the family of Count Almaviva at the end of 1790, immediately before the French Revolution. And we begin.
Oh, I wish Madame would wake up and ring. My melancholy work is finished. Oh, it's barely 9 o'clock and I already feel worn out. Madame's last order as she went to bed spoiled my night entirely. Tomorrow, Suzanne, at daybreak, bring a lot of flowers and decorate my rooms with them. No one is allowed to see Madame today. Make me a bouquet of black and deep red flowers with a single white carnation in the middle. And here it is. My poor mistress, how she cried. And who are all these arrangements for? Oh, if we were in Spain, today would be the saint's day of her son Leon, and of the one who is departed. The colors of blood and mourning. The wounds of her heart will never heal. I must tie this with a black ribbon, since sadness is its meaning. Oh, come in, Figaro. You look as if you've been successful.
Can we speak freely?
Yes, if we leave the door open.
Why the precaution?
Because he who we're talking about might come in at any moment.
Honoré Tartuffe Béjars.
It's a fixed appointment, so don't get in the habit of calling him names. They might be overheard and could upset your plans.
His name is Honoré.
But not Tartuffe.
Morbleu.
You sound very worried.
No, furious. I thought we agreed. I need your help, Suzanne, to prevent a disaster. Are you still bamboozled by that nasty man?
No, but I think he doesn't trust me anymore. He no longer tells me anything. I'm really afraid that he thinks we're onto him.
We have to pretend that we're still deceived.
What have you discovered that's put you in this mood?
Look at where things stand at the moment. Since we've been in Paris, and Monsieur Albamiva, now that we're supposed to use his family name, as he won't let us call him Monseigneur.
Oh, it's marvelous. Now that Madame has to go out alone without any footman, and we're just like anybody else.
And now the family has lost their libertine of an eldest son in a gambling quarrel. Look how everything's changed for us all. The Comte's mood has become so dark and frightening.
Well, you're rather moody yourself.
It's as if his surviving boy has become hateful to him.
Indeed.
And how unhappy this is making Madame.
Oh, it's criminal.
And see how the Comte's affection for his ward, Florestine, has increased. Now he's taking every opportunity to convert all his property to cash.
My poor Figaro, you are repeating yourself. If I already know all this, why are you telling me again?
To make sure all the facts are clear, that canny Irishman, the bane of this family, somehow knows all the family secrets. Having served as secretary in several of the Comte's embassies, this scheming rogue has worked out exactly how to bring the family here to France and turn everything upside down. He hopes to take advantage of the disorder of the household, split the husband and wife, marry the ward himself, loot the entire wealth of the family he has destroyed.
What can be done about it?
Also bear in mind what you know about his plots and make sure I know everything he does.
I already tell you everything he says.
But he says only what he wants us to hear. We've got to understand the hidden meanings that escape him, every gesture, every motion. That is where the secrets of his soul are hidden. Something dreadful is brewing here. He must believe he is safe because it seems to me that he is becoming more blatantly devious, false even, and more arrogant, just like these French fools here celebrating a win before it happens. Try and be as sly as he is. Cajole him. Lull him into a false sense of security. Whatever he wants, just don't refuse him.
Well, that's a lot to ask.
Everything is proceeding just as we want, as long as you keep me informed.
What if I tell my mistress?
Nah, it's too soon. The whole family is under his spell. They wouldn't believe you, and you'd give us away without helping them. Shadow him everywhere. I'll keep my eye on him outside the house.
Oh, Figaro, I told you, he suspects me. And if he catches us talking, he's coming. Pretend to argue.
I won't have it if it happens once more.
As if I care what you say.
You'd better.
You'd hit me here in the mistress' rooms.
Hey, what a racket. I've been hearing you arguing for the past hour.
The past hour?
I come in here and found a woman in tears.
He hit me.
Oh, abomination. Monsieur Figaro, does a gentleman ever strike a lady?
Confound it, sir, leave us alone. I'm no gentleman, and my wife is not a lady. She's a brazen woman who meddles in other people's business and who believes she can defy me because she has people here who support her. I merely rebuke her.
Aren't you going too far?
Sir, if I wanted someone to judge my behavior towards my wife, it would be anyone but you, and you know perfectly well why.
You forget yourself, sir. I will complain to your master.
Forget myself? Me? That's impossible.
My girl, I don't understand. What caused his outburst?
Oh, he was determined to quarrel with me. He told me 100 awful things about you. I am not to see you, not to dare to speak to you. Well, I took your side. Well, things heated up. And then he slapped me. It's the first time he's ever hit me. I want to leave him, you saw.
Let's not talk about it. I was starting not to trust you, but this squabble changes it.
Is this the comfort you give me?
Go. I will help you get back at him. It's high time that I speak openly to you, my poor Suzanne. First, there is a secret. But is the door really shut? If I could only get 3 minutes with that jewel case which I had made for the Countess, the one with the false bottom where she hides those letters.
Well, what's the big secret?
Just help me. Your future will be assured. I am going to marry Florestine. It's all settled. Her father definitely wishes it.
Who do you mean, her father?
Where have you been, where have you been? Rule number 1, my girl. When an orphan like her arrives at the big house as a ward or a godchild, she's almost certainly the daughter of the husband. In short, I can marry her if you help me pique her interest.
Oh, but Leon is very much in love with her.
The son. I'll split them up.
Oh, she's too much in love.
With him?
Yes.
I'll take care of it.
Madame knows and approves their union.
We will change her mind.
You do that too? But Figaro, unless I'm mistaken, is the young man's confidant.
Ah, that's the least of my worries. Wouldn't you be glad to be rid of him?
As long as no harm comes to him.
The very idea offends my sense of integrity. When they understand just where their best interests lie, their minds will change by themselves.
If you can do that, sir.
Oh, I shall. You understand that love means nothing in such an arrangement. I never really wanted anyone but you.
Well, if Madame had wanted to...
Then I no doubt would have consoled her, but she spurned my compliments. According to the Comte's plans, the Comtesse will enter a convent.
I won't do anything against her.
Ah, nonsense. It will suit her perfectly. As you always say, she's an angel here on earth.
Well, must we torture her?
No, but we can bring her nearer to heaven, the abode of the angels, as befits a fallen angel. And now, with these new and wonderful laws, divorce is permitted.
The Comte wants to divorce her?
If he can.
Oh, men are such scoundrels. If only we could strangle them all.
Present company accepted, I would hope.
My God, not really.
I love your righteous anger. So sincere. It shows your good heart. As for the lover knight, Monsieur intends for him to go away for a very long time. With all his experience, Figaro will be appointed to watch over him. And what is most important to us, the Comte, Florestine and I will all live at the same residence, and dear Suzanne, who has all of our confidence, will run the household and have charge over everything. No more husband, no more slaps, no more brutish partner. Happiness and prosperity, a most fortunate life.
From this wheedling manner, I take it that you want me to deliver Florestine to you.
To tell the truth, I am counting on you. What a wonderful woman. I have everything else under control, but this little job is in your hands alone. For example, today you can give us a little indication. Just a token, though it seems important to the Comte, because, by heaven, it is just a very small thing. On the signing of the marriage contract, the Comte has a fancy to give his daughter jewelry, exactly like the Comtess's matching set, but he doesn't want anyone to know.
Madame's parure?
It's not a bad idea. Beautiful diamonds serve to close many a deal. He needs you to get him his wife's jewel case so we can compare the designs to those of his jeweler.
What? Diamonds just like the Comtesse has? It's a very strange idea.
He says they are very beautiful. You understand, it's nothing to me. Don't you see? Here he comes.
Major Bergerac, I was looking for you.
Before coming to you, monsieur, I wanted to warn Suzanne of your intentions to ask her for the jewel case.
But Monseigneur, you understand.
No more Monseigneur. I not order that whilst we are living here in France?
It seems to me, Monseigneur, that it belittles us.
That is because you pay more attention to vanity than self-respect. When one decides to live in another country, one should not offend its sensibilities.
Very well, monsieur. Will you at least assure me?
And since when am I to be questioned?
I'll go and get the jewel case for you. Mother of God, Figaro told me not to refuse him anything.
I think that settled her concerns.
There is something, monsieur, that concerns me more. It seems to me by your manner that you are feeling overwhelmed.
I tell you, my friend, I fear the death of my son is the ultimate tribulation. But a greater anguish causes that wound to bleed afresh and is making life unbearable.
If you hadn't forbidden me to say otherwise, I would tell you that your younger son...
My younger son? I don't have one.
Be calm, sir. Let us talk about this. The loss of a cherished child can turn one against those left behind. Your wife, your son, yourself. Should we judge such important matters based on suspicion and guesses?
Suspicion? No. I'm all too certain, but I lack the proof. As long as my poor son was alive, it mattered little to me. He was heir to my name, my position, my fortune. What did this other person mean to me? All he would inherit is cold indifference, a small allowance, a celibate life under the cross of Malta. All the prerequisite of younger offspring. And I was avenged on his mother and on him. But can you understand my despair when in losing my beloved son, I have to see this stranger succeed my titles, my rank, and to compound my pain, to see him every day giving me the odious name of father.
Sir, I am afraid of antagonizing you if I try to mollify you. But your wife's virtue.
That is just one more insult. To bury a crime such as that with the facade of an exemplary life. To command the respect and esteem of the world with 20 years of austere habits and piety. And thus, to let me take the sole blame for my alleged bitterness makes me loathe them even more.
Then what would you have her do? Even assuming her guilty, is there any fault in the world that 20 years repentance should not eventually erase? Have you been blameless yourself? This young Florestine, whom you call your ward and who's so dear to you.
She shall be the organ of my revenge. I will convert my property to cash, and everything will come to her. 3 million in gold has already arrived from Vera Cruz, which will serve as her dowry. And I shall give it to you. But you must help me to disguise this gift. If you take this portfolio and present yourself as her suitor, you must invent an inheritance, a legacy from some distant relative.
You see that in order to obey you, I'm already in mourning.
Once I have received the approval of the king to exchange all my lands in Spain for property in this country, I will find a way to be certain that it all comes to the two of you.
And I don't want it. Do you imagine that simply on suspicion, possibly with very little foundation, I will make myself a pact of this complete destruction of your heir, of a young man of promise, because it must be said that he has...
More than my son, do you mean? Everyone thinks as you do, and that turns me even further against that other.
Even should your ward accept me, and should you designate the Mexican 3 millions as her dowry, I still cannot countenance the idea of receiving it. I will only take it if the marriage contract states that the money comes to her as my gift.
My true and loyal friend. What a husband have I found for my daughter.
Sir, here is the jewel case. Please do not keep it too long. I must put it back before Madame wakes up.
Suzanne, as you leave, forbid anyone to enter until I ring the bell.
I must warn Figaro about this.
Why did you want to look at the case?
I will no longer hide from you all the details of my shame. Now listen, a certain Leon d'Astorga, who was once my page, and who has been called Cherubin.
I knew him. We served together when I was 7 as a major in your regiment. But he died 20 years ago.
My suspicion stems from his audacity in loving my wife. And I believe that she was in love with him. I removed him from Andalusia by giving him a commission in my regiment, a year after the birth of our son, whom I lost to that stupid duel. When I was sent as viceroy to Mexico, instead of staying in Madrid, or at my house in Seville, or the lovely villa in Agua Fresca, where, my friend, do you think my wife chose to live? The decrepit chateau in the blighted landscape of Astorga, which I'd purchased from the benighted young man's parents. That is where my wife chose to spend the 3 years I was away. And where she gave birth after 9 or 10 months, how would I know? To a wretched child who looks just like that trespasser. Long ago, when I sat for a portrait to go in a miniature for a bracelet for Madame la Comtesse, the painter thought young Cherubin very handsome. Made a sketch of him too. It's one of the pictures in my office.
Yes. I have noticed that your wife
tries never to look at it. Well, based on that portrait, I had a miniature made and placed in this bracelet, identical to hers, made by the same jeweler. I intend to substitute this one with the one with my portrait. If she dares say nothing, that will amount to proof of my suspicions. If, though she asks me about it, the resulting exchange might erase my shame.
If you ask my opinion, sir, I cannot approve of such a plan.
Why?
Such methods are repugnant to honor. If an accident, lucky or unlucky, had revealed certain facts to you, I could excuse you for looking into them more deeply. But to lay a trap, an ambush, what man of any delicacy would want to take such an advantage, even over his worst enemy?
It is too late to back down now. The bracelet is made and the portrait of the page is in it.
Sir, in the name of honor.
Oh, my own portrait. Now I have it back. I will at least have the joy of seeing it adorn my daughter's arm, who is 100 times more worthy to carry it.
Oh, now we have broken the box.
No, it's a secret compartment that is open during our argument. It contains letters.
I must believe, sir, that you will not abuse.
No, if an accident, lucky or unlucky, has revealed certain facts to you, I could excuse you for looking into them more deeply. That is what you said to me just now. An accident has offered this, and I will follow your advice.
As I hope to live, I cannot allow myself to become part of such a thing. Replace those documents, monsieur, or permit me to retire.
I don't want to know anymore. Put back all the others, and I will keep this one.
No. Whatever it is, you have too much honor to commit such a...
Go ahead. Say the word, I can stand it.
Pardon me, my patron. Just blame the impertinence of my reproach on my concern.
Far from holding it against you, I esteem you all the more. God, treacherous Rosina. Because despite my dalliances, she is the only woman for whom I have felt. The other women were... Despite my anger, I still feel passion. And I am ashamed. I despise myself for still loving her.
In the name of God, sir, put back that fatal paper.
Busybody, what do you want?
Someone rang the bell, so I came.
No one rang, nosy valet.
Ask the jeweler, he also heard it.
My jeweler? What does he want?
Well, he says he has an appointment about a bracelet he made.
I tell him to come back another day.
But since Monsieur has Madame's case open, it perhaps would be convenient if...
Stop meddling! Go away, and if one word escapes you.
Just one word. I would have too much to say. I wouldn't want to do anything halfway.
Just close the goddamn jewel case. I have the proof I was looking for. I'm keeping it however much it devastates me. Why did I have to find it? Oh, God. Read, Major Bergeras.
Me? Be a party to such secrets? God forbid that someone starts investigating.
What kind of friendship is it that refuses my confidences? Yes, I see that people only care about what concerns them directly.
What? Because I refuse to read a document? Lock the jewel case then. Here is Suzanne.
The case, the jewel case, Madame rings.
Suzanne, you can see that everything is in order.
What's wrong with Monsieur? He seems upset.
Just a minor annoyance at your prying husband, who came in, who walked in uninvited.
Well, I did tell him and thought he heard me.
Now the other.
Father, my respects. Have you passed a good night?
Where were you, sir, last night?
My father, I was taken to a respected assembly.
Where you did a reading?
I was invited to read an essay that I composed on the abuses of monastic vows and the right to be released from them.
And the knightly vows of chastity.
It was, they say, very well received.
Sir, they kindly made allowances for my age.
So, instead of getting ready to leave on your journey, preparing yourself to serve your holy order, you make yourself enemies? You are composing, scribbling in the mode of the times. Soon we won't be able to distinguish a gentleman from a scholar.
Mon père, it's more important to distinguish an ignorant man from an educated one, a free man from a slave.
Talk of a zealot! It's easy to see what you're all about.
Mon père!
Leave those bourgeois phrases to the craftsmen in the towns. People of our status use better language. Who says mon père at the court? Monsieur? Call me monsieur. You sound like a peasant, a commoner. Mon père, indeed. Come along, Major Bergeras, come along. Now, I'm finally alone. Let me read this astonishing missive that just fell into my hands. Unhappy fool, our destiny is determined. The surprise of your foolhardy visit that night in your family's chateau, where you grew up knowing every secret access, the passion that followed your transgression, that was also mine. Also mine. Has now received its natural consequence. Today, on the feast of Saint Leon, your patron saint, I gave birth to a son. My disgrace and my despair. Thanks to the precautions I have taken, my reputation is secure, but my honor is no more. I know that my tears of infinite regret can never wash away my sin, the reality of which will remain forever. Never try to see me again. This is the irrevocable command of a miserable Sina who no longer dares to sign herself by any other name, who no longer dares to call herself by any other name. Rosina. All this time, what has become of us? You have disgraced yourself. This is not the writing of an evil woman, of a miserable temptress. But there is a response written on the reverse. Let me see. Since I may no longer see you, life is hateful to me. I will happily lose it in the coming attack on the fort for which I volunteered. I can now return this letter with your reproaches. Also, that likeness I drew of you, together with the lock of your hair that I stole. The friend who brings this to you when I am gone is trustworthy. He witnessed the depths of my despair. If the death of this unfortunate may instill any trace of pity in you, can I hope the name of Léon, together with the names You give the air of another, happier man, will perhaps remind you of this desperate one who dies adoring you and signs for the last time, Cherubin Leon d'Estorga. Then in bloody letters, mortally wounded, I reopen this letter and write a final farewell with my own blood. Remember, the rest is wiped out by tears. These are not the words of a wicked man either. An unfortunate wrongdoing. How I am torn. My dear friend, come in. You see me in a sad state.
You look terrible, monsieur. I hesitated to come in.
I just read this. No, they were neither treacherous nor monsters. Merely unhappy fools, as they say themselves.
I assumed as much.
Wretched women! When they allow themselves to be seduced, they hardly know the evils that will follow. They simply act. The wrongs add up, and the unjust world blames the father who says nothing and suffers his shame in secret. And he is accused of harshness for withholding his affection from the fruit of her adultery. Our misery cannot rob them of the certainty of motherhood, yet their thoughtless action can destroy a man's happiness. The certainty of his being a father. Oh, it is not for nothing that we place such importance on the fidelity of women. Everything good and bad in society is tied to their conduct. The happiness or the misery of a family depends totally on their good reputation.
Calm down. Here is your daughter.
I thought you so busy, monsieur, that I hardly dare to interrupt you.
Worrying about you, my daughter. How I like to call you that, since I've cared for you since childhood. Your mother's husband was deeply troubled. When he died, he left nothing. When your mother died, she commended you to my care. I pledged my word to her, and I will keep it, my daughter. By giving you a noble husband, I speak to you openly before this friend who loves us. Look around you. Choose. Is there anyone here that you find worthy of your heart?
You have my devotion, monsieur. And if I am to be consulted, I will say that I will be happy not to change my situation. Monsieur, your son, when he marries, because surely he will no longer remain in that monkish order of Malta, will live apart from his father. Please allow me to care for you, a duty, monsieur, which I will fulfill joyfully.
Please leave the word monsieur for strangers. One could be surprised that such a grateful child would give me a sweeter title. Call me your father.
She is worthy, in truth, of your complete confidence. Mademoiselle, embrace your good love and protector. You owe him more than you know. His guardianship of you is no more than his duty. He was the friend, the secret friend of your mother. And to put it really in one word,
Madame la Comtesse?
Oh, to hell with this rascal!
Figaro told me that you were unwell. I was worried and quickly came to see.
That this meddler has told you another lie.
Sir, when you went by, you looked so beaten down. I'm glad to see it's nothing.
Good day, Major McHarris. You are Florestine. You are looking radiant. Isn't she just so fresh and lovely? If heaven had given me a daughter, I would have wanted her to be like you, both in looks and in personality. You'll have to take up that position. Do you wish that, Florestine?
Madame.
Who gave you flowers this morning?
No one, madame. I made the bouquet myself. Isn't today the feast of Saint Leon?
Charming child, who forgets nothing. We are all here. Tell my son that we will take our chocolate here.
While they are preparing it, Godfather, let us see this handsome bust of George Washington, which I hear you have just received.
I don't know who sent it to me. I did not ask for it. That American president is simply too radical for my appetite. Though I'm sure his constitutional politics are too moderate for the Jacobins now governing France. No doubt it is intended for Leon, but it is handsome. It is in my study. Come, see it, everyone.
Snake, or rather worm. You may cast your snide glances, but it is my watchfulness which will finish you. But where does he receive his packages? Nothing comes for him in the post here at the residence. He can't have slithered up from the infernal regions alone. Some other devil must be helping him, and I can't discover.
Begiers is to marry the young lady. He has Lecomte's word. He will rob Leon of his love. He will steal Florestine. He will make Madame agree. He will imprison her in a convent while Monsieur waits for a divorce. He will drive you out of this house. He will have the young man disinherited and make me mistress of the household. That's the news of the day.
Oh, thank you, Major. We too will have this out before that. You will learn from me that it is only fools who celebrate their triumphs in advance. Thanks to Suzanne, my Ariadne, I hold the thread to this labyrinth, and our Major Minotaur is surrounded, and I shall catch you in your own traps, and you shall be unmasked entirely. But what pressing interest makes such a man bare his teeth and show his hand so soon? Does he believe himself safe enough? Foolishness and vanity are inseparable companions. My opponent babbles and betrays himself. He's misfired. That's a mistake.
Monsieur Begiers, I see he's not here.
You can wait for him. He'll be back.
Mein Gott, I will not wait for Monsieur in such company. My Meister, he would not like it.
Does he forbid it? Well, then give the letter to me. I'll give it to him when he gets back.
I can't give you letters. Zum Teufel, he would want to chase me out.
I have to grill this idiot. You, you've come from the post office, I think?
Schrecklich. No, I will not come.
It's probably some missive from the gentleman, from his Irish relations, the one he's inherited money from. Do you know about that, my good Guillaume?
A letter from one dead, monsieur? No, please. I don't think so. More like one other. Maybe he would come from one of those out there, ones that are not happy.
One of our malcontents, think you?
Yes, but nothing that...
It could be. That fits with everything else. We could look at the stamp and make sure.
Not make nothing sure. Why? The letter, he comes first to Monsieur O'Connor, and so I do not know how it stamped me.
O'Connor? The Irish banker?
Truly.
Right here, behind our residence.
Ein Fort Jolie house, nicht wahr? Your gents very, very gracious, if I dare say.
What luck.
Don't talk, idiot. It come from the banker to no one, do you hear? I shouldn't have... Teufel!
Go, I heard nothing. Don't worry.
Meister, he say, monsieur, that you have good mind. I do not... It is so... But maybe... Oh, shut, I am so sorry I told you.
And why?
Hey, don't know. Servants betray, nicht wahr? A sin that is barbara, vile, and even stupid.
True, but you didn't say anything.
Mein Gott, I know not now. Was to ish, or not.
What a discovery. Lady Luck, I salute you. I can't imagine why such a devious man employs such a fool. Smart man can see right through him. Hey, O'Connor, Irish banker. That's where I must direct an undercover search. Not exactly legal, but by God, an advantage, and I do have precedence. 4 or 5 gold coins to the valet in charge of collecting the post, to find a tavern and open every letter written by Honoré Tartuffe. Big arse. Monsieur much-honored Tartuffe, you will be done for. The gods have put me on your track. Lady Luck, A goddess so misunderstood, our ancestors called you Destiny. We'll give you another name.
Couldn't you have left these in my room?
This letter, Denkish, just like other.
Sir, the Washington bust is a very beautiful piece. Has your son seen it?
A letter from Madrid, from the minister's secretary. There is something that concerns you. Inform Count Almaviva that the courier, bringing the royal consent for the exchange of his land, is leaving tomorrow.
Figaro, please tell my son that we are all here having a repast.
Madam, I will.
I want to notify the purchaser immediately. Have them bring me some tea in my study.
Mon père, I'll bring it to you.
Think carefully about what I told you.
My father leaves just as I arrive. He treats me so coldly.
My son, what are you talking about? Must I always be hurt by your disparagement of each other? Your father simply needs to write to the person who is buying his land.
Do you miss your papa? We miss him too. However, as he knows that today is your birthday, he asked me, sir, to give you this bouquet.
He could not have chosen a nicer messenger.
See, madame, one can't even joke with him without us taking advantage.
My child, on his birthday, we can allow him some liberties.
To punish him, madame, make him read us the speech that was so well received yesterday in the assembly.
Well, if my mother thinks I've done wrong, I will leave and do penance.
Madame, make him read it.
My son, bring us your speech. I shall find my embroidery so I can work whilst I listen.
Stubborn one. This is good now. I will hear it in spite of you.
Ah, Florestine, hardly despite me when it's you who've ordered me.
Well, mademoiselle, have you guessed who is destined to be your husband?
My dear Monsieur Begias, you are so much our friend that I can allow myself to talk to you about it. Who can I see in that position? My godfather said, look around you, choose. I see how extremely good he is to me. It can only be Leon. But how should I presume without any possessions of my own?
Oh, Leon, his son, your brother.
Sir!
God, did he not say to you, call me father? Wake up to the truth, my dear child. Put aside this delusional dream which can only turn deadly.
Oh, yes, disastrous for both of us.
But understand that such a secret must remain hidden in your soul.
Oh, heavens. Leon is my brother, and I dare to have such feelings for him? It is a disaster. How cruel it is to awake from such a dream.
Ah, my mother hasn't returned, and Major Begiaris is gone. Let's take advantage of a lucky moment. Florestine, as always, you're so perfectly beautiful this morning. You have an air of joy, a kind of gaiety which revives all my hopes.
Oh, Leon.
Heavens, your tearful eyes and mournful face suggest some terrible misfortune.
Misfortune? Leon, that is all that I have now.
Floresta, do you not love me anymore? My feelings for you.
Your feelings? Don't ever talk to me of those.
But my love for you is pure.
End this cruel conversation, or I will leave you now.
Good Lord, what has happened? Monsieur Bejaris was here talking to you. Mademoiselle, I want to know what Bejaris told you. Mama, you must help me. You find me in despair. Florestine does not love me anymore.
Madame, no longer love him. My godfather, you and he are my entire life.
My child, I do not doubt it. I know the fullness of your heart, but what has upset him so much?
Mama, do you believe my love for her is sincere?
Bid him to be silent about love. I will die of grief.
My child, I do not understand you. I am as astonished as he is. You tremble in my arms. What has he done that you dislike him so?
Madame, I don't dislike him. I love and respect him as my brother, but he must not demand anything more.
You hear that, Mama? Cruel girl, explain yourself.
Please believe me or you will kill me.
Take it all away, Suzanne. Now is not a time for eating or drinking, let alone a reading. You, Figaro, serve your master his tea. He's writing in his study. And you, my Florestine, come to my room and explain this to me. My dear children, you are both so dear to me. Why do you torture each other without mercy? There are things here that I need to understand.
I don't know what this is all about, but I would bet Begiars is at the bottom of it. Above all, I need to protect my mistress.
Wait until I know more. We'll consult this evening. Oh, I did discover one thing.
Oh, and you're going to tell me?
Oh, God.
What's this about, monsieur?
Oh, I don't know myself. I'd never seen Floresta in such good humor, and I knew that she'd had a conversation with my father. I left her for just a moment with Monsieur Begiars and returned to find her alone, in tears, instructing me never to come near her again. What can he have said to her?
If I didn't fear your temper, I'd tell you what I know as it concerns you, but now is when we need to exercise great caution, that it only take one word from you, brash as you are, for me to lose the fruits of 10 years' observation.
It's just a caution, just a matter of caution. What do you think he said to her?
Well, that she must accept Honoré Begiars as her husband, a previous arrangement between him and your father.
Between him and my father, that snake will ruin my life.
Well, now, if you act like that, young monsieur, that snake will not only ruin your life, but he will get your lady love and your fortune with her.
Pardon, my friend, tell me what to do.
Like the riddle of the Sphinx, you must choose a right. In other words, control yourself, whatever is said, and hide your feelings.
Control myself? Yes. Yes, I will control myself. I'll kill him! Steal Florestine from me! Ah, here he comes. I will explain myself. Calmly.
All will be lost if you lose control.
Sir, a word. It is important to your future welfare that you give a straightforward answer. Florestine is in despair. What did you say to her?
And who told you that I said anything to her? Can't she have moods without my having anything to do with it?
No equivocating, sir. She was in a charming mood, and after speaking with you, she is in floods of tears. Whatever has caused this, I share her unhappiness. Tell me what happened, or I'll know the reason why.
With a less arrogant tone, you can get anything from me. But I do not give in to threats.
Well, scoundrel, defend yourself. I will have your life, or you will have mine.
Major Begiars, this to your friend's son in his house? Where do you live?
I do know all too well what I owe. I will explain myself to Leon, but I don't want any witnesses. Out, and leave us together.
Go, my dear Figaro. You see that he cannot avoid this. Don't give him any excuse.
I have to warn his father fast.
You might prefer to fight rather than talk. The choice is yours, but it will be one or the other.
Leon, a man of honor does not cut the throat of a friend's son. Should I explain myself in front of that insolent valet who has practically come to rule his master?
All right, sir. I am waiting.
You will regret your unreasonable anger.
We shall see.
Leon, you love Florestine. I've seen that for a long time. As long as your brother lived, I could see no way of helping an innocent and unhappy love, which clearly could lead nowhere. But when that disastrous duel took his life and left you in his place, I prided myself that my influence with Monsieur, your father, might help to unite you with the one you love. I approached him in every way, but all my efforts were met with a firm resistance. I was sad to see he rejected a proposal which seemed to me would bring happiness for all. Your pardon, my young friend. This will cause you pain, but it is necessary now to save you from everlasting misfortune. You must keep your head. I forced your father to break his silence, to tell me his secret. My friend, he finally said to me, I know about my son's feeling for Florestine, but how can I let him marry her? She, who is believed to be my ward, is in fact my daughter. She is his sister.
Florestine, my sister.
I gave him my word and did not want to break it. But I owe it to you both. My silence could ruin you. Well, Leon, do you still wish to fight with me?
Oh, my generous friend, I have been ungrateful, a monster. Forget my crazy behavior.
But I have told you on condition that this fatal secret will never come out. Exposing the shame of a father would be a crime.
Oh, never, never.
Here they are. Here they are.
In each other's arms. Hey, are you losing your mind?
Good God, sir, I must be losing it.
Explain this mystery to me.
It's up to me, mon père, to explain it. Pardon. I should die of shame. I completely forgot myself over a trivial matter. Major Béjar's generous character not only restored my reason, but he has had the goodness to forgive my behavior, for which I was thanking him when you surprised us.
You have owed him thanks more than 1,000-fold. In fact, we all owe him. Leave us, sir. Even your confession infuriates me.
Ah, sir, everything is forgotten.
Go and think twice about having upset my friend and yours, this most virtuous man.
I am so deeply sorry.
Inside that uniform hides a legion of devils.
My friend, let's finish what we started. You, Mr. Scatterbrain, with all your impudent suspicions, give me the 60 bearer bonds, worth 3 million in gold that I had you bring from Cadiz. I asked you to number them.
It's done.
Give me the portfolio.
Which one? With the 3 million in gold?
Yes, of course. Well, what's keeping you?
Me, monsieur? I no longer have them.
What do you mean you don't have them?
No, sir.
What have you done with them?
If my master questions me, I owe him an account of my actions, but you, I don't owe you anything.
Impertinence! What have you done with them?
I took them to Maître Fall, your lawyer.
But on whose advice?
My own, and I feel that it was right to do it.
I will bet you weren't.
Well, since he thanked me, you run the risk of losing that bet.
But if he received them, he will have used the money to speculate on the markets. Notaries like that are all alike.
You might speak a little better of a man to whom you are obligated.
I don't owe him anything.
I think you do, when you inherited all that money.
So you have something to say about that as well?
Oh, who, me, sir? I have doubts about it, since I think I knew the relative from whom monsieur inherited it. A young libertine, a gambler, a quarrelsome spendthrift, with no character or self-restraint, and absolutely nothing of his own, not even the vices which killed him in a most unfortunate fight that...
Enough! Will you tell us why you deposited that gold?
So as not to be responsible for it, sir. Could we not be robbed? How do we know? Real rascals often slink into great houses.
Yet monsieur wants it to be returned.
Monsieur can send for it.
But will this liar surrender it without a receipt?
I shall give it to monsieur, and since I have done my duty, if something bad happens, he won't be able to blame me.
I will be waiting for it in my study.
Maître Fall will only return the 3 million with your signature. I recommended that to him.
Trust a scoundrel and see what you catch. In truth, monsieur, my friendship forces me to say you have been too trusting. He has guessed our secrets. From valet, barber, surgeon, you promoted him treasurer, secretary, a kind of factotum. It is well known that this gentleman does very well for himself off you.
As far as loyalty goes, I have nothing to reproach him with. But it is true that he is presumptuous.
There is a way to get rid of him, by appearing to reward him.
I frequently have wanted to.
Sending Leon to the Holy Land with the Knights of Malta, you will probably want a trustworthy man to look after him. That one, flattered by being offered by such an honourable job, cannot fail to accept it. You will be free of him for a very long time.
You are right, my friend. In addition, I hear that his wife will gladly be rid of him.
Another step taken. Ah, my esteemed investigator, you prince of comics. Here, the perfect valet. You want to deprive me of her dowry, yet calling me by funny names. Courtesy of Seamus Honore Tartuffe, you will endure the discomfort of the desert. That will end your spying on me.
I could not get anything out of the child.
We're going to take a break there. This is the interval. We'll take 10 minutes and we'll start again at 2:10.
Thank you, 10.
Even?
Yes,
You there, by any chance?
I am.
I keep hearing all kinds of different pronunciations of Major's name. What is the correct one?
I can't hear you because of the music. Sorry, what?
Oh, I'm saying
Can we turn the music off, please? Whoever's playing it, thank you. Yeah.
the correct pronunciation of Major's name.
Bejeas.
Bejeras.
No, Bejeas.
Oh, Bejear. Okay.
Yes.
Bejear. Thank you.
Bejeas. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, so since I don't really know how to pause on our live stream on YouTube, we have like 10 minutes here. So I just thought I could talk about what we have coming up with Instant Shakespeare. We have Love's Labour's Lost next Saturday, and the following Thursday, September 30th, we're doing a reading of Liz Estrada, which is an adaptation of Liz Estrada set during the Trump administration. And then the following week, we will have, following Saturday, October 2nd, we will have Two Noble Kinsmen. And I'll be sending out more of it. And I'm also just want to, I mean, with Stephen, it's so great what Stephen's done in putting this together, which I'm really enjoying, something I'm not familiar with, because I mean, I don't think I've ever really seen a production of a Beaumarchais play, you know, or a reading of it, even, because I mean, we mostly just get him through the operas. But it's a lot of fun, and it's also it's very interesting, having just done Molière yesterday, to see how he's very much in the same tradition.
Even with a century between them or so.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, and I'm really enjoying that. And what's really going to be exciting is this history cycle that Stephen's come up with, that we're going to be doing starting in October through November. The histories from Edward II to Richard III. I think it's really exciting. I'm really excited to hear some plays that the non-Shakespeare, I've read all of the Shakespeare plays several times, but all of these non-Shakespeare plays, including, I mean, Edward II by Christopher Marlowe is probably the most well-known one, but we'll get the first part of Richard II, and Edward IV actually getting a couple of plays, who just sort of gets to be king, but he doesn't get a play to his name in Shakespeare's thing. except of course for when John Barton had done his adaptation of the Henry VI, the three parts of Henry VI and Richard III into three parts that he had Henry VI, Edward IV, and Richard III. So, but yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to that. I don't know, I haven't heard any sort of updates. I mean, I've been in touch with various branches of the New York Public Library, some of whom are starting to have some sorts of events, but they're not yet having live events, you know, so we don't know when that would happen. And when they do, obviously we want to get those happening, but we will continue on Zoom as well.
Seems to change every week, the news.
Yeah.
Does.
Does, yeah. And we will also, obviously, for when we get back, I mean, we'll have to do things in a way that's in the safest way that we can. With people will need to have proof of vaccination, which I think what New York City is doing in terms of requiring that for most activities is really what needs to be done, because it's important to get through this. And it's crazy that even though we've gotten this sort of magic bullet, that a lot of people don't want to touch the bullet. So so we still have to be patient and careful.
Oh, have you appropriately plugged your book yet?
Oh, well, I haven't, but I will have once my publisher sends them to me. They don't actually publish till October, but I'll have a whole bunch of monologue books, first folio monologue books that are going to be coming out that I think will be really useful. It's really the work of Neil Freeman. It's taking, I mean, these things, the Once More in the Street, which is these huge books, and like out of one of these, I made like four little books, you know, which and even with that only takes like about half of the material, less than half of the material that's in this one, because there was just so much there. But I think by breaking it down and making it in smaller pieces, it'll be more accessible, so people can see how the folio really can give you so many clues in working on Shakespeare. So, thank you.
Is it just soliloquies, or is it monologues and soliloquies?
Monologues and soliloquies. It's speeches, yeah.
You know, those talky bits that break up the action.
Right.
You mean the arias between the recitative?
Yeah, right.
Yes. And it's actually, I mean, one of the things that I really wanted to focus on in it is they're shorter pieces. There's not any of the really long arias, as we have coming up in Love's Labour's Lost with Barone, who goes on and on and on. And in the folio, they misprinted, and he goes on and on and on and repeats himself. But
Yeah, right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So which version is in error? The folio, you said?
Oh yeah, the folio. I mean, well, there were lots of mistakes in the folio, and
how do I thought the folio was like the definitive one. So how do we know that that the correct one is with less Baron speeches?
Well, no, it's just in this speech, in his very long speech, it just repeats itself. It has the same bits of the speech like later in the speech as well. And it was like a printing error where the guy didn't think he'd said it and he reset it again. So that's one with that.
You're sure that's not a character choice, etc., etc.,
etc., etc., that he wants to repeat himself. Well, we can see how that works, but generally, since he's just saying the exact same words, although there are some, I mean, sometimes where I think repeated words do work quite well and could have been used for, like in the folio they have. I'm pretty sure it's the folio when Friar Lawrence is starting, when his first scene, when he's saying the first lines, that you have one edition has Romeo saying those lines and then Friar Lawrence saying those lines. And that could be a mistake, or it could be actually, this is something that Friar Lawrence says all the time. So Romeo sort of knows what he's going to be saying and is saying, yes, I'm going to do that. So I mean, I think that's one of the things. The folio, it's not perfect. It was put together after Shakespeare's death, and he had no sort of direct control over it, but it was put together by members of his company. So that's why we think they reflect a lot of what was in performance.
Is there an official original script anywhere of anything?
Well, the only thing actually that may exist in his hand is the little bits of Sir Thomas More, you know, where we actually have this play that was never approved for production, but we do have a manuscript that includes what is known as Hand D, which is believed to be Shakespeare's own writing for the scene and the speech from Thomas More that is believed to be by him. But other than that, I mean, the definitive things, I mean, we do have like the good quarto, the second quarto of Hamlet, which very clearly came out in response to the bad quarto, was like approved. But that again is something that we think was from his draft rather than from a Playhouse thing, because the folio is different than that. And so that's why I consider the first folio the most authentic source that we have.
But where is the script that he wrote sitting in his desk when he thought all this up? He must have written it on one page, not separate lines for each, separate pages for each character.
They are called the foul papers, and I'm going to be a foul person and say, ladies and gentlemen, we have to begin again. So can we please switch off our cameras? And we will start momentarily in Act 3. If we have everybody present? By everybody, I mean Anna and Paula. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we begin with Act 3 in La Comtesse's dressing room, lavishly decorated with flowers.
I could not get anything out of the child. Tears, sobbing. She accuses herself of wrongs against me. Asked my pardon 100 times. Says she wants to enter a convent. Observing her behavior toward my son, I can only assume that she blames herself for accepting his protestations of love, cultivating his hopes, although she does not believe herself worthy of him. Charming, but naive, virtuous to a fault. Major Vigaris apparently spoke to her in a way that upset her. Because he's such a scrupulous man, and so particular about matters of honor, he exaggerates sometimes and imagines things no one else sees.
I don't know what has caused all this. Some very strange things are happening here. It's as if the household is possessed by a demon. You are constantly crying, mademoiselle is choking on her tears. Monsieur le Comte locks himself in and refuses to see anyone. Monsieur, your son is distraught. Major Begiers alone has no cares in the world and doesn't seem to be affected at all, and observes the sorrows of everyone with no expression.
My dear, he does share our sorrows. Alas, without the comfort of the Major, whose wisdom sustains us, who eases our pains and our bitterness, and calms my irritable husband, our situation would be much more unhappy.
I hope, madame, that you are not deceived in him.
He used to treat him much more justly. He is the only one who has ever been able to calm my concerns about my son. Ask him to present himself.
Here he comes, right on cue. We'll have to do your coiffure later.
Ah, my poor Major. What is going on here? Have we finally reached the crisis that we knew was coming and feared for so long? The Comte seems to become more estranged from my unhappy son every day. It's as if he has acquired some fatal knowledge.
Madam, I don't believe so.
Since heaven punished us with the death of our eldest son, Monsieur le Comte has changed completely. Instead of working with the ambassador to the Vatican to release Leon from his holy vows, he persists in his desire to send him to Malta. I also know, Monsieur Vigares, that he is converting his wealth and wishes to abandon Spain and settle in this country. At dinner the other evening, in front of 30 guests, he was openly musing about divorce in a manner that made me shiver.
I was there. I remember it only too well.
Pardon me, worthy friend. I can only allow myself to weep when I'm with you.
Share your distress with one who can feel your emotion.
Is it you? Or Or is it my son who has broken Florestine's heart? I intended her for my son. She was born without property, certainly, but she is noble, beautiful, virtuous, and was brought up among us. My son has become the heir. Does he not have enough for two?
Too much, perhaps, and that is where the trouble comes.
When sorrows come, they are not single spies, but arrive in battalions, and they confound my hopes. It's as if heaven has waited all this time to punish me for a transgression that I would deeply regret if it had not also brought to me my son. My husband hates him, and now Florestine rejects him. He has turned against him for some reason and says she must give him up forever. He will die of despair, I am sure of it. After 20 years of penitence, a merciless God subjects me the discovery of that one indiscretion. I'm all alone in my misery. Oh God, I will not complain as long as my son is not punished for a sin he did not commit. Can you devise, Major Vicaris, any remedy for all these misfortunes?
I can, worthy lady, and I came specially to allay your fears. When we fear one thing, the despair conquers all things. But I hold the key to all these riddles. You can still be happy.
Even with a soul torn with remorse.
Your husband does not avoid Leon because of suspicions about his birth. The actions that you consider enmity are simply the result of his scruples. I hope I can comfort you.
My dear Mr. Vicaris.
But you must now learn something more from me. Your secret is the birth of Leon. His secret is the birth of Florestine. He is her father, not just her guardian.
Almighty God.
Imagine his dread upon seeing those children in love with each other, unable to reveal his secret, unable to contemplate that such a union might be the result of his silence. He has become somber, strange. If he intends to send his son away, it is to extinguish, if possible, by his son's nightly vows, an unhappy love that cannot be allowed.
Oh my God, wellspring of all blessings. Can you allow me to mend the unintended mistake that I allowed a foolish boy to make? Might I bring peace of mind to the husband I have offended? Oh, Almaviva, can my heart, shrunken by 20 years of sorrow, reopen for you? Florestine is your daughter. She will become as dear to me as if she were my own. Let us, without words, exchange forgiveness. Oh, Mr. Vicaris, make it happen.
My friend, I do not want to stifle these first impulses of a good heart. The emotions of joy are not dangerous like those of sadness, but for the sake of your peace of mind, hear me to the finish.
Oh, speak, my generous friend, to whom I owe everything. Speak.
Your husband, looking for a way to protect his Florestine from this love, which he believes to be incestuous, has proposed that I marry her instead. But aside from my respect for your sufferings...
Oh, my friend, you would do this out of compassion for me.
Say no more. When Florestine and I first spoke, we were at cross purposes. She thought that I was speaking of a union with Leon, and her young heart swelled at the idea. Then you were announced, and I was unable to pursue her father's notion. Later, it was my explaining the dreadful possibility of a blood relationship that caused her outburst and the pious horror which neither your son nor you could understand.
He was far from understanding, the poor boy.
Now that all this is known to you, should we pursue this project of a union that remedies all?
I must. My friend, my heart and mind agree on this point, and it is for me to accomplish it. It will protect our secrets. No outsider will unravel them. After 20 years of suffering, we will have happy days, and it is to you, my worthy friend, that my family will owe them.
So that nothing can endanger us further, one more sacrifice is needed, and I know you will be able to do it.
Yes, I will do anything.
These letters, these papers from an unfortunate man who is no more, must be reduced to ashes.
God.
When our dying friend asked me to bring them to you, his last order was that your honor must be protected, leaving no trace that might threaten it.
God.
20 years have passed, and now you've been unable to remove this sadness from your eyes. But despite the pain it causes you, you must see what a danger you're in.
Why? Well, what have we to fear?
If some servant, I do not suspect Suzanne, came to know that you hide these papers, might she not decide to make that knowledge her fortune? If one of these were given to your husband, he might pay much and plunge you into misfortune.
No, Suzanne is too honest a heart.
Honourable lady, you have paid your debt to love, to pain, to marital obligations. If you are convinced that I am your friend, I want to see some proof. We must burn all of these papers to extinguish these memories of an aberration that has been paid for. In order to avoid this painful subject ever again, I say the sacrifice must be made.
I think that it is God I hear speaking. He charges me to forget that poor young man and tear away the veil that has darkened my life since his death. Yes, my Father in heaven, I shall obey this friend that you have sent. What he demands in your name, I did accept with my repentance, but in my weakness, I resisted. Oh, Suzanne, bring me my jewel case. No, I will fetch it myself. You need to look for the key while get the case.
Major Bajars, what is going on? The house is like an insane asylum. Everyone's beside themselves. Madame, Mademoiselle Florestine, the Chevalier Léon, and Monsieur keeps us all at a distance. Why is this jewel case suddenly of such interest to everyone?
Ask no questions. You will know everything shortly. It's fine. All is working out.
Suzanne, light the fire in the brazier in the boudoir.
If it's to burn papers, I can bring the nightlight from the washstand.
Watch at the door and let no one enter.
I must hurry to warn Figaro.
How I have hoped for this moment for your sake.
Oh, my friend, what a day we have chosen for this sacrifice. The birthday of my unhappy son. At this time every year, I have begged heaven for forgiveness and choked on my tears as I reread these sad letters, devoting the whole day to them. They reminded me, at least, that there was more error between us than wickedness. Oh, must I burn all that remains to me of him?
What, madame? Would you destroy the son who now represents that other young man in your life? Do you not owe him a sacrifice to preserve him from many terrible hazards? You owe it to yourself, and your own security may depend on this noble act.
The Garrus, you open it more easily than I do. Let me read them one more time.
No, I won't allow it.
Only the last one, where he traced a sorry farewell in the blood that he shed for me. He gave me a lesson and courage that I need so much today.
If you read a single word, you will not burn anything. Heaven demands a perfect sacrifice, courageous, voluntary, free of human weakness. Or if you do not dare to do it, it is for me to be strong for you. There, you're all in the fire.
Garrus, heartless friend, that is my life that you consign to the flames. I must have just a shred of it.
I will throw the ashes to the wind.
Figaro is fetching Monsieur.
What do I see, madame? What means this behavior? Are you arguing? Why the tears? What is the fire? These letters and the jewel box. You have no answer?
I hope, sir, that you do not require that we explain ourselves in front of the servants. I don't know why you should surprise madame like this. As for myself, I shall speak nothing but the truth, as my integrity demands, whatever comes of it.
Leave us, both of you.
But monsieur, at least acknowledge that I have given you the receipt from the notary which we were discussing earlier.
I do so willingly as it corrects an error. Rest assured, sir, the receipt is here.
If he thinks he can get away with it this time.
He can be very devious.
Yeah, now I've got him.
Madame, we are alone.
I will speak for us both and respond to your questions, monsieur. Have you ever known me to be untruthful?
Sir, I did not say that.
Although I cannot approve of this rather unseemly interrogation, I am obliged, out of respect, to repeat the advice I gave to Madame when she asked, one should never keep documents that might compromise the friend now dead who entrusted them to us secretly. However much it pains us to destroy them, even if it were in our best interest to keep them, respect for the dead is sacrosanct and overrides all else. Mightn't some unexpected mishap reveal them to an enemy? In my position, monsieur, would you have said anything else? Anyone looking for timid advice or for support of a shameful weakness should not come to me. You both have had proof of this, and you above all, monsieur le comte. Regarding the request made to me by Madame, and not wishing to know what those papers contained, I felt I must advise her to take a difficult step. And when I saw that she lacked the courage to do so, I did not hesitate to step in myself to prevent any and all regret. Any ill-advised delay. This was our argument. And whatever you may think of it, I do not at all regret what I have said or what I have done. The sacred bond of friendship is nothing but empty words if we do not fulfill our sacred obligations. Permit me to retire.
No, best of men, no. You will not leave us. Madame, he shall be even closer to us. I will give him my Florestan.
Sir, you could not exercise your legal rights over her more worthily. This choice has my consent, should you need it, and the sooner the better.
Well, tonight, quietly, by your chaplain.
Very well. I, who serve as a mother to her, shall prepare her for the solemn ceremony. I can also show generosity to this worthy young person. I should like to think so.
Ah, madam, believe me.
Oh, sir, I do believe so. Today is my son's birthday. These two events combined shall make this day a very special day for me.
I can't get over my astonishment. I expected arguments, countless objections, and I find her fair, good, generous toward my child. I who serve as a mother to her, she said, no, this is not a wicked woman. The innate dignity in her actions which impresses me, a tone of voice that prevents rebuke even when one wants to criticize her. But my friend, I do have to rebuke myself for showing surprise when I saw those papers burning.
Me? I wasn't surprised, seeing who you came in with. That snake hissed you that I was here betraying your secrets. But such base accusations mean nothing to a man of my stature. I see them creeping around me. But after all, monsieur, what did those letters matter to you? Have you not kept, despite my advice, the one you wanted? Ah, would to heaven she'd consulted me sooner. Then you wouldn't have such undeniable evidence against her.
Undeniable indeed. I don't even like to have it on me. It burns where it lies.
I would still argue for the legal rights of your son, because in the end, he is not to blame for the sad fate which placed him in your family.
Him? In my family, never.
And he is not to blame for loving Florestine either. However, if he stays near her, how can I marry this child who is possibly in love herself and would only submit out of respect for you? The hurt feelings.
My friend, I understand. And these thoughts make it clear that he must leave immediately. Yes. I will be so much happier without this constant reminder in front of me. But how do I raise this subject with Madame? Will she consent to be separated from him? There will have to be a confrontation.
A confrontation? No. But divorce is permitted in this precarious country and may allow a way out.
What? And publish my shame? These days, the dishonor of divorce is only for cowards. A rascal who causes such a scandal is rewarded only by shame.
I have done to her and to you what honor required me to do. I am not in favor of violence, especially when it concerns a son.
Say, rather, a stranger whose departure I will hasten.
Do not forget that insolent valet.
I'm too tired of him to keep him here. You, my friend, go quickly to my notary, and with this receipt, withdraw the 3 million deposited there. As it will rightfully then be yours, you can be very generous in the marriage contract that must be finalized today. And tonight at midnight, quietly in Madame's chapel.
She said, "Come to the room at 6 o'clock. It's the safest place for us to talk." So I rushed through my errands outside and came back in a sweat. Now where is she? Of course, I'm not crazy. I saw them leaving here. Monsieur and his lodger, arm in arm. So are we going to give up after one setback? Does a debater abandon his soapbox simply because he's lost one argument? But what an obnoxious sneak to manage to burn all of Madame's letters so that she doesn't see that one is missing and know her secret is exposed. No light, but rather darkness visible. That is what the Englishman John Milton called hell. I had it right before. Honoré Big Arse is exactly the demon called Legion. If we looked at him close enough, we'd see the cloven hoofs, as my mother would say. The one thing a devil cannot disguise. Oh, I'm beginning to feel better. First, I deposited the Mexican gold safely with Monsieur Fowl, which buys us time. And then, doctor of complete hypocrisy, truly hellish Major Tartuffe, thanks to chance, ruler of us all, and to my own schemes, as well as a few well-spent coins, well, here is someone who says they have a letter from you in which, they say, you pull off this mask of yours, leaving nothing to the imagination. The rascal who reads it wants 50 louis for it. Well, he shall have them, if the letter is really worth it. A year of my wages would be well spent, if it will disabuse a master to whom we owe so much. But where are you, Suzanne, to enjoy the moment? Oh, please, I don't see how anything more can happen this evening. Tomorrow, then. But why waste time? I've regretted that before. No more delays. Tonight we lay a fuse and then we sleep on it. Our unconscious mind may offer further thoughts. For tomorrow we shall see which of the two of us is blasted to kingdom come.
Eh? My friend Figaro, I'm so happy that we've met here.
If only to give you the pleasure of seeing me dismissed again.
You bear a grudge for so little, but it is good that you're thinking about it. We all have our little quirks.
And that of Monsieur Béjars is talking only in private?
A wise man needn't actually hear everything when he's so good at deduction.
One must use the small talents that God has given us.
And you expect to gain something with the few that you've displayed here?
I win all without risk, as long as I make sure the opponent loses.
We shall soon see how Monsieur Figaro plays this game.
It's not just brilliant acts that dazzle an audience, but as King Solomon said, every man for himself and God for all.
Ah, nice words. Did he not also say, the sun shines on everyone?
Yes, even on the serpent, waiting to bite the hand of his unwary benefactor.
He doesn't even hide his plans anymore. He's so pleased with himself. It's a good sign that he knows nothing of my own. He'd have a long face if he knew that at midnight. What did I do with that paper? Ah, here it is. Received a Mitrafal notary, the 3 million in gold as specified in the authorization referred to above. In Paris on the blah, 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 blah. Alma viva. I will have both the girl and the money. But that is not enough. This man is weak. He has arranged nothing for the rest of his fortune. La Comtesse still influences him. He's afraid of her, still loves her. She will never enter a convent unless I force him into a pitiless conflict. At last, I mustn't risk anything tonight. If I push them to the precipice, I risk plunging over them with myself. There will be time tomorrow when I've safely tied the holy knot that will bind them to me. Enough, or I shall be fit to burst. I'm getting ahead of the game, and I will give myself away if I can't control yours truly. How naive is this count to think that this bridegroom will hand over such a large dowry when this convent school virgin is given to me as wife? Blessed Bergers! Bergers, why call yourself that? Are you not halfway to being the next Count Almaviva? Just one more step. Bergers, and you'll arrive. This Figaro worries me. Why did he fetch Lecomte? The slightest mishap could finish me. This valet could. This valet could. The slightest misstep could finish me. This valet could ruin my good fortune. This wretch is too damned perceptive. But how? But how? We must get him out of here, together with his wandering knight.
Figaro, it's not him.
Surprise, surprise. And just who were you expecting?
No one. I thought I would be alone here.
Since I find you here, a word before the conference.
What are you talking about? Conference? Really, after 2 years in Paris, I barely understand the language.
This conference, my dear, is between the Countess, her son, our young ward Florestine, and myself about that very important matter. You know.
After the scene I witnessed today, do you still dare to hope for that?
Dare to hope? No. I am marrying her tonight.
Despite her love for Léon? Who could have imagined that?
No, tell me. What are they saying out there? Do they talk? You have the inside story. You have their confidence. Do they think well of me? Because it is very important.
What I think more important is just what sorcery you apply to manipulate their minds. Monsieur speaks all too highly of you. My mistress praises you to the skies. Her son thinks you're his only hope. Florestine reveres you.
And you, Suzanne, what do you say?
Faith, sir, I do admire you. In the middle of this awful mess that you've caused, you're the only one who's calm. You have a genius for bending everything to your wishes.
Oh, my God, nothing is easier. There are only two spindles upon which the whole world revolves, turns, morality and politics. Morality, simple though it sounds, consists in being honest and correct. It is the key, they say, to more boring virtues.
And politics?
That is the art of manufacturing facts, of dominating events and people by playing with them. Self-interest is its goal. Intrigue is its method. Always skirting the truth. Its cast and rich inventions are a prism which dazzles. Nothing can resist it. Requiring great talent. Scruples alone can destroy it. It is the secret nectar of master manipulators.
So morality bores you. Politics, on the other hand, seems to excite you.
What? No, it's not that. It's you. You calling me genius. Here comes our young Knight of Malta. Leave us alone.
Oh, Major Bajaris, what am I to do?
What has happened, my young friend?
Oh, my father's just told me so harshly that I must make all the preparations for my departure from Malta within 2 days. No servants other than Figaro to accompany me, he said, and a valet to go ahead of us.
This must seem strange indeed to those who do not know his secret. But for those of us who do know, it is simply our duty to have pity and obey. This is the result of a very excusable fear. Malta and your holy vows are just a pretext. His dread of an incestuous love is his true motive.
But why, my friend, when you are marrying her?
If the bride's brother wishes to postpone a rush departure, I can see only one way.
Oh, my friend, tell me.
Your mother must overcome this timidity, which prevents her from expressing her opinion to your father. Her sweetness harms you more than being firm might do. If someone has prejudiced a father unjustly against his son, who has greater responsibility than the mother to bring him to reason, convince her to try to do so and to be strong about it.
My friend, you are right. This fear is his real motive. Without a doubt, only my mother can change it. Here she comes with the one who I no longer dare to adore. Oh, my friend, just make her happy.
By talking to her every day about her brother.
Dan, give me my diamonds.
Madame la Comtesse, and you, Mademoiselle Florestine. I leave you with Leon, my friend. Before he speaks, I vouch for everything he tells you. Do not consider the pleasure that it would bring me to become one of you. You must think only of your own happiness. I wish only to help you in any manner you wish. But whether or not the demoiselle accepts my offer, you have my guarantee that the fortunes I have just inherited will come to her, whether in a marriage contract or in my will. I am now going to draw up the necessary papers. Mademoiselle will choose. Having said that, it would not be appropriate that I remain here to embarrass her. She must make her choice with complete freedom. I will accept it without reservation.
He is an angel sent from heaven to temper our misfortunes.
Oh, Florestine, we must resign ourselves. It was in those first miserable moments when we discovered that we could not belong to one another, that we swore never to belong to anyone else. Instead, I now make this promise. I shall never lose you, because now I gain a sister where I thought to find a wife. We could still love each other.
My son, never seek to know what we do not need to know. Florestine, you must marry Jairus. His behavior and actions make him worthy of you, and since this marriage is the desire of your guardian, the Comte, it should take place today. You are crying, Florestine.
Have pity on me, madame. This is too many shocks for me to stand in one day. I have hardly learned who I really am, and now must give up my own name and status and assume yet another identity. I am so afraid. I have nothing against Major Begias, but I dread the thought that he may become... However it must be. I must sacrifice myself for the well-being of my dear brother. Mayor, have pity on us. Bless your children. We are so very unhappy.
I bless you both, my dear children. Oh, Florestine, if you only knew how dear you are to me. You will have the contentment that virtue brings, that must compensate for other losses.
Do you think, madame, that this marriage will reconcile Monsieur to Lyon? Because we must not deceive ourselves. His obvious dislike is almost hatred.
My dear daughter, I hope so.
Major Begiaris believes so. He told me. But he also told me that only my mother can work this miracle. will you have the strength to speak to him on my behalf?
I've tried so often, my son, but without any result.
Good mother, your very gentleness itself, the fear of antagonizing him prevents you from exerting the influence your deep respect and virtue commands. If you spoke to him more firmly, he would not be able to refuse you.
You think so, my son? I will try to, with you present. Your reproaches distress me as much as his prejudice. But no, your presence will get in the way of any good I might do. You must go to my study. There you can hear me plead your just cause. No longer shall you blame your mother for lacking spirit in defending her son. Esteem, propriety forbids that you stay. Go to your room and remain there. Ask heaven to grant me success and bring peace to this sad family.
Madame, what is it you wish?
Please ask Monsieur to step in for a moment to see me.
Madame, I'm frightened. What's going to happen? Monsieur never comes here without...
Please do as I ask you, Suzanne, and don't worry about anything. You shall now see, my son, whether your mother is weak at championing your interests. But now, let me collect myself with prayer and prepare to advocate on your behalf. This dreadful moment seems to me like the last judgment. My blood is freezing in my veins. Oh God, grant me the strength to sway my husband's heart. You alone know the reasons that have kept me silent always. If it concerned anything less than the happiness of my son, you know, oh God, I would never dare speak to defend myself. But if a fault repented, for 20 years, can earn your forgiveness, as a wise friend assures me. Oh God, grant me the strength to sway my husband's heart.
Madame, I am told you asked for me.
I believed, sir, that we might talk more freely here than in your study.
I am here, Madame, speak.
Monsieur, I beg you, and give me your attention.
No, I will stand. You know I prefer to move around when I'm talking.
It concerns my son, monsieur.
Your son, Madame?
What else could overcome my reluctance to begin a conversation you've never wanted? But I have now seen him in such a pitiable state, such a troubled mind, his heart broken by the harshness of your command to leave immediately. Did he incur the displeasure of a customarily just and decent man? Since that dreadful duel deprived us of our other boy.
Oh.
This son, who ought never have known sadness, has redoubled his efforts to ease the sorrows of our family.
Oh.
His brother's uncontrollable character, his hot-headed temper, his disorderly conduct brought so many worries down upon both you and me. The cruel decree of heaven, perhaps wise in taking this child from us, may have spared us greater cares in the future.
Oh.
Has this son who remains to us ever failed in his duties? Has he ever deserved the slightest reproach? Is he not a true example of youth at his age? He is loved, sought after, universally respected. His natural protector. My husband alone seems blind to his matchless talents, the brilliance of which touches the entire world. In any other matter, monsieur, I would consider it an honor to submit my poor understanding and my opinion to yours, but this concerns a son. And he still had an older brother. Custom in the great Spanish families predestined him as the second son to a life of celibacy in the Holy Order of Malta. An unjust division between two sons who had equal merits.
Equal merits.
It is now 2 years since that terrible accident transferred all rights to him. Is it not astounding? You have done nothing to release him from his vows. It is common knowledge that you left Spain only to liquidate your property, whether by sale or by exchanges. If the goal is to deprive him of everything, this is pure hatred, nothing less. Now you banish him from your presence and seem ready to shut him out of the house of his your house. I must tell you, such treatment is unfathomable to any reasonable person. What has he done to deserve it?
What has he done?
It is truly my wish, sir, not to give offense.
What has he done, madame? And it is you who ask this.
Monsieur, you frighten me.
Since you have provoked an outburst of resentments which I have long controlled out of human consideration, you will now learn his fate and yours.
Oh, monsieur.
You ask what he has done.
No, monsieur, say nothing.
Remember, unfaithful woman, just what you have done. And now, welcoming an adulterer into your arms, you put into my house an intruder, a child you dare to call my son.
Let me leave, I pray you.
No, you will not run away. You will not escape the guilt you harbor. Do you recognize this writing? It is written in your own sinful hand, and the blood-stained words which serve as an answer.
I'm going to die.
No, you will hear the passage that I've underlined. Unhappy fool, our destiny is determined. Your transgression that was also mine has now received its natural consequence. Today, on the feast of Saint Leon, your patron saint, I give birth to a son, my disgrace and my despair. And this child was born on Saint Leon's Day, more than 10 months after my departure from Veracruz. Oh,
Heavenly Lord, you do not permit even the most secret.
and this, from the hand of the seducer, the friend who brings this to you when I am gone is trustworthy.
Strike me down, oh God. This I can't do.
If the death of this unfortunate may instill any trace of pity in you, together with the names you give the heir of another,
No more sufferings. Expiation for my fault.
can I hope the name of Leon? And the son is called Leon.
Oh God, was my offense so very great that it deserves such punishment? I will be done.
And in the face of this infamy, you dare to question my treatment of him?
I will. When my hand reaches out to strike me down.
And will, while you plead for the child of this wretched man, you wear my portrait on your arm.
Yes, sir, I will return it. I know I am not worthy of it. What is happening to me? I'm losing my mind. My conscience is seeing ghosts. The condemnation I have long awaited. This is not your portrait. I see what cannot be. It's him. Leon, Carubin, he beckons me to follow him, to join him in the grave.
No, this is not.
Terrible ghost, away.
This is not what you think. Please.
Wait for me. Yes, I will do what you ask.
Madame, listen to me.
I must go. I will obey.
I went too far. She is ill. Oh God, I must seek help.
Oh, ma mère, I've killed you. Why didn't I just leave the country, ask nothing from anyone? I could have prevented this.
And now the son.
She's dead. Oh, and I will not outlive her.
Smelling salts, cognac. Suzanne, save her.
Oh, my poor wretched mother.
Suzanne, we cannot hear you.
Breathe this. I will loosen her dress, monsieur.
Rip it, tear it off. Should have been gentler with her.
She's dead. She's dead.
Who's dead? Who's... Madame? Stop crying or you'll kill her. No, she's not dead. It is no more than a faint. Blood rushing to her head. I'll get what she needs.
Hurry, Figaro. Just name your reward.
Promises mean nothing when Madame is in danger.
Oh, if only she would breathe. Oh, God, bring back my mother. Oh, she's coming around.
Madame, please, madame. Oh.
It's so hard to meet death.
No, ma mère, you mustn't die.
You misjudged me. All is known. I have wronged my husband and my son. Avenge yourselves, both of you. There is no absolution for me. A guilty mother, an unfaithful wife. A single moment has destroyed us all. I have brought shame to my family. I have caused dissension between father and child. God is just, and my crime must be laid bare. Let my death and atone.
No. Restore yourself. Your suffering tears at my soul. Sit there. Leon, my son. Suzanne, help us get her in a chair.
She conscious?
Oh, I'm feeling faint too.
Figaro, help us, please.
Calm down. Her condition isn't so serious. I just come back home now. This really worries me. Madame, have courage.
Oh God, let me die.
No, Mama, you will not die, and we'll make things right. Monsieur, I will no longer offend you by giving you that other name. Take back your titles, your property. I have no right to them. But alas, I did not know. Yet for pity's sake, do not publicly trample on the honor of this unfortunate lady who was your... Are not 20 years of contrite tears sufficient to expiate a wrongdoing, or do you still consider it a crime? Is that justice? My mother and I will remove ourselves from your house.
Never. You shall not leave.
She will retreat to a convent, and as a private soldier, I will defend this, our new republic, under my own name of Leon. I will die for my country in obscurity or serve her as a zealous citizen.
My dear child, your courage gives me the will to live. I will endure because my son does not hate me. Place in misfortune is a noble heritage, and it is yours. Monsieur le Comte married me without property, so we shall ask nothing of him. You shall serve the state, and I shall serve as an unskilled domestic.
No, Racine. Never. I am the guilty father. I cannot face a sad old age deprived of so much goodness.
You will be surrounded by it. Florestine, Bergès remain with you. Floresta, your daughter, the darling of your heart.
What? How did you know? Who told you?
Give her your fortune. My son and I will not stand in your way. Florestine's happiness will console us both. But before we go our separate ways, may I beg one grace at least? How came you by an unfortunate letter that I thought had been burnt, along with the others? Have I been betrayed?
By the infamous Bejas. I surprised him as he was giving it to Monsieur.
No, it was pure chance. This morning I had your jewel case so that I could exchange the bracelets. During the discussion, a compartment opened and he was astonished. He thought he had broken the case.
He was surprised by a secret compartment. That monster had the jewel case made.
Is it possible?
It is too true.
But he didn't know the letters existed. When I wished to read them, he refused even to look at them.
Together with Madame, he read them 100 times.
Is it true? He did know about them?
It was he who brought them back from the war, from that poor young man who died.
The friend who brings this to you when I am gone is trustworthy.
It's
him!
Oh, infernal villainy. With what skill he drew me in. Now I understand everything.
You believe it?
I recognize his awful plot. But to be more certain, we must expose all the secrets. Yet how did you discover the truth about my Florestine?
Chairs.
He told me in secret.
He told me too.
A monster! And I was going to give Florestine to him? To put my fortune into his hands?
More than a third of it would already be there if I had not deposited your 3 million in gold with Maître Fall. You were going to give it to him. Luckily, I suspected as much and gave you the receipt.
The scoundrel has just taken it from me and gone to collect the money.
God damn me! If that money is handed over to him, everything I've done is useless. I will hurry to Mr. Maître Fall. Please God, it is not already too late.
The villain cannot be there yet.
Well, if he's not, we'll have him. I must rush.
But Figaro, the catastrophic secret you just learned must stay buried in your heart.
Sir, it's been buried there for 20 years, and for 10 of those I have worked to prevent that monster from taking advantage of it. Wait for my return before taking any action.
Does he imagine he can vindicate himself?
Well, he will do anything to try, but this is how we will prevent it. Now read this appalling letter. It is his most fiendish secret is here. You will thank me for all I have done to acquire it. Suzanne, give this to your mistress. You know how I prepare it. You must all be very calm around here. Monsieur, you must not flare up again. She would pass away in front of us.
Flare up? I would loathe myself.
Do you hear that, madame? That is his true nature. This is my old master once again. As I've always said, a good heart that is quick to anger, but equally fast to forgive.
Mama, it's too hot in here. Suzanne, help me move her to the window.
Are you more comfortable? What? Still tears.
Oh, allow me to cry tears of relief. Exposure so awful has crippled me. Vile letter above all.
Already married in Ireland. And he would have wedded my daughter. And with my money lived a scandalous life that would have haunted this family until the last of us had died. And God knows what else.
Oh, man, calm yourself. It's time to fetch Celestine. She is heartbroken about what her future might hold. Bring her, Suzanne, but don't tell her anything.
What I said to Figaro, Suzanne, was meant for you as well.
Monsieur, I have witnessed the misery of Madame for 20 years. Would I do anything that might deepen it?
Oh, Rosina, dry your tears. Curses upon anyone that hurts you.
My son, get down on your knees before our great-hearted defender and thank him on your mother's behalf.
Let us forget the past, Léon. We shall never distress your mother further by discussing it. We shall be as the world sees us, father and son. Figaro says we must be calm. Now, we must protect Florestine in her innocence as your sister and keep her from the causes of this incident.
Heavens above, Maman, what has happened?
Nothing but will be good to hear. Your godfather will tell you.
Alas, my Florestine, I shudder to think of the danger into which I almost plunged you. Thanks be to God, you shall not marry Bergerac. No, you will never be the wife to that most horrible ingrate.
Oh, heavens. Leon.
Oh, my little sister, he fooled us all.
His sister. It is then true?
He cheated us all. He'd set us against each other, and you were to be the prize for his dastardly treachery. I will turn him out of my house.
Good child, your instinct to fear him served you better than our enlightenment. Give thanks to heaven for saving you from such danger.
Truly, sister, he fooled us all.
Monsieur, he calls me his sister.
Yes, Floresta, you are truly one of us. Our most cherished secret. Here is your father, and here your brother. I shall be your mother for the rest of your life. Never forget it. Alma vive. Is she not indeed my daughter?
And this is my son. They are both our children.
Damn it, he has the portfolio. I saw the impostor leaving with it as I got to the house of Maître Fall.
Oh, Maître Fall, he must have pressured you.
No, sir, on the contrary. He stayed with me for over an hour, had me finish the marriage contract, and insert into it the gift of the money to Mademoiselle Florestine. And then he gave me my receipt, under which was your signature. He told me that the money was his and that he had inherited it and given it to you for safekeeping.
Scoundrel thinks of everything.
Except to worry enough about what comes next.
Given his explanation when he demanded, how could I refuse to give him the portfolio containing what he claims are his 3 million in bearer bonds? Even were you to stop the marriage, if he wishes to keep the money, it is a violation that cannot be made right.
It's worth all the gold in the world just to be rid of him.
I'll be hanged if he keeps a cent. Suzanne, go and watch for him.
Do you have any way to make him confess in front of witnesses that this is in fact money that he received from Monsieur? Without that, I doubt we could recover it from him.
If he learns through that German servant of his what is happening here, he won't ever come back.
So much the better. That's all I want. Let him keep the rest.
And let him simply walk away with your children's inheritance in a fit of pique? That's not virtue, it's weakness.
Figaro!
I mean it! How can you ask for loyalty if this is how you reward treachery?
But to try something and fail is merely to hand him a victory.
Major Bejas is back.
Oh, Judas.
We have no time to make a plan, but if you listen to me and follow my lead in giving him a feeling of security, I bet my life will win him.
Are you going to confront him about the portfolio and the marriage contract?
No, he knows too much to attack him directly. We must come at him another way to get a voluntary confession. Pretend that you're about to turn me out.
But what for?
He's here.
Major Bejas too. Well, one more humiliation. If you want to go full confession of a full admission of all that I have done wrong before pardoning me, I trust that the Major will be equally charitable.
What has gone on? Why are you all together in the same room?
To drive out this unworthy subordinate.
And Maître Fall?
You see that no time has been wasted. Everything is here as you desired.
Hurry up, I'm tired of this.
Well, since pretense is useless, let's finish my miserable confession. Yes, to harm Major Bejas, I set myself to spy on him, follow him, and generally annoy him. I knew that you hadn't really rung for me when I entered the study. I needed to find out just what you were doing with Madame's jewel case, and when I saw that it was open.
Indeed, it was open, I regret.
What nerve?
Master, no.
Sir.
Calm yourself, or we'll get nothing from him.
That's why, knowing Madame was closeted with the Major and planning to burn certain important documents, I made you appear so suddenly.
Didn't I tell you?
To the point.
When I saw that you were all in agreement, I admit I did everything I could to provoke a confrontation between you and Madame, which didn't have the result I hoped for.
Are you done yet with these excuses?
I'm afraid I have nothing more to say, since after all my efforts, Maître Fall is here to finalize the contract. The Major's lucky star has crushed all my efforts. Master, after 30 years of service...
As your actions have affected the Major, I feel that it is not for me to judge.
Oh, Major Bejas.
Who? Me? Dear friend, I hardly expected to owe you so much. Look how my happiness is now accelerated by your criminal attempt to steal from me. My young friends, what a lesson. See how sooner or later a plotter is caught in his own trap. We must all walk the path of virtue with honesty.
Ah, yes.
Monsieur, I say again, bid him leave.
Is that your judgment? I agree.
Major Bejas, it is what I deserve. But I see Maître Fall is in a hurry to complete the contract.
I know all the terms.
Except for one. I'm going to read you the gift the Major made. And wishing to give to Mademoiselle, his fiancée, unequivocal proof of his love, the aforementioned Major Seamus Honoré Bejas transfers to her the entirety of his worldly goods, consisting, as he has stated and demonstrated to the satisfaction of the undersigned notaries, of 3 millions in gold secured in these bonds payable to the bearer.
They are here in this portfolio. saving only 2,000 louis, which I have removed to pay for wedding preparations.
Monsieur has said that he will pay for everything. I have his instructions.
In that case, take this. Now the gift is complete.
Monsieur, if you will count it whilst we finalize the matter.
Ah, this proves that honest repentance is like any other good deed. It is its own reward.
How?
I have the honor to tell you all that we have here more than one generous man. Oh, may heaven fulfill the wishes of two such perfect friends. These are your bearer bonds, sir. Indeed, I recognize them. Between Major Bejas and yourself, it is a competition in generosity. One gives all he owns to the future husband, the other returns it to his future bride. Sir, mademoiselle, here is a great-hearted patron that you must cherish. But what have I said? Has my enthusiasm made me indiscreet and given him offense?
No.
No one here.
No one here should feel offended. My friend here, Monsieur le Comte, confirms that I did receive these bonds from him. Yes. This other Figaro is not honest, and I am tired of him, and I am not satisfied with his inadequate confession. I owe Monsieur le Comte all my happiness and good fortune, and if I share them with his worthy daughter, I only give back what is rightfully his. Give me the portfolio. I desire only the honor of confirming the accord by signing our advantageous contract.
Gentlemen, do you hear? You can testify if necessary. Monsieur, here are your bonds. Return them to this intriguer if your heart judges him worthy.
Good Lord. Give them to him. Heartless man, get out of my house. Hell is not deep enough for you. Thanks to this faithful old servant, my imprudence has caused no harm. Leave my house immediately.
My friend, you're mistaken.
And this letter, fiend. Am I mistaken about this also?
I've been played! But I will get my own back!
You have made this family suffer horribly. Leave us in peace.
You young fool! You will pay for everything! Sir, I challenge you!
I'm ready.
Leon!
My son.
Brother!
Leon, I forbid it. You, sir, are unworthy of even that honor. A duel is not a way a man like you should end his life.
No, my lad, you shan't do this. Your father is right. Attitudes about dueling have changed. Here in France, we now fight only enemies of the state. Let him choke on his fury, and if he dares to cross swords with you, defend yourself as if he is an assassin, nothing else. No one will think badly of you for putting down a rabid dog, but he won't risk it. He's too careful and is as cowardly as he is vile, capable of any underhandedness.
Bastard!
Haven't you left yet? Just looking at you is torture.
Yes, damn it, I'm leaving. But I have evidence of your treacherous sellout. You sought His Majesty's consent to liquidate your Spanish properties just to make trouble for him from north of the Pyrenees.
Monstrous! What's he saying?
Only what I will say when I denounce you to Madrid. It's not only the bust of George Washington, that radical American in your study, that will cause the loss of all you own.
Of course, and 1/3 of the reward would go to the informant.
To make sure that you cannot sell anything, I'm off to see the Spanish ambassador and have him delay the royal authorization you expect at any moment.
The king's approval? King's approval, here it is. I predicted just that trick. On your behalf, I just collected this packet from the ambassador's secretary. The courier from Spain had just arrived.
Goodbye, you outmoded clan! A lineage without morals and without honor! You shamelessly planned a degenerate marriage uniting your brother and sister! But everyone will know of your sacrilege!
Let him cast aspersions, the last resource of cowards. He's no longer dangerous. His mask is off. La commedia est complète. And he has not 25 louis in the world. Ah, Maître Fall, I would have been in despair if he had kept the 2,000 louis he had took from the portfolio. Besides, no one knows better than he that in nature and in law, these two young people are nothing to each other. They are not related.
Oh, Figaro. Madame, certainly, but precaution is not useless.
Maman, is there hope?
What? Sir, are you not really?
My children, we will talk of this later discreetly. We shall consult with learned, trustworthy lawyers. Oh, my loves. A time has come for honest people to forgive each other's faults and past mistakes. Let loving devotion overcome the storms and passions which have prevailed for too long. Rosina, the name your husband reverently bestows again, let us rest from this difficult and tiring day. Maître Fall, please stay. Come, both my children. Suzanne, embrace your husband. May all our quarrels be buried forever. The stolen 2,000 louis I give to you, and while you await the reward, that is your due.
For me, monsieur? No, please. You would give me money? My reward is to live my life out in your home. If, as a young man, I ever failed you, let this day's work compensate, and my old age will be honored to remain in your service. This one foolish day has changed all our circumstances. No disrespectful hypocrite can oppress us. We have all done right by each other. Let us not complain about those few moments of discord. We can move forward freely as a family now that the evildoer has been expelled.
End of the fifth and final act. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was quite... I'm not sure, I can't say anything, and I have to tell you that Kathy and I both had tears in our eyes during the fourth act.
I did.
It was quite something. Thank you very much indeed. And I actually do want to thank Kathy very much for everything she did to make
Please.
It works.
Really a lot of fun.
Yeah. I also, while we're here and we're doing this, I want to thank Paula and Sean, who actually did help us by reading
so much
part in the play earlier, a few months back, just so we could hear it out loud.
That was a lot of help.
Yeah, really great job, everyone. I really enjoyed it. It was great to hear it and see it, and really thank you so much. Terrific work, and also with pretty lucky in terms of no real technical issues as well. So good job all around. Thank you.
Zoom premiere.
Thanks, everybody. That was so much fun.
Yes, it was.
Dude.
What a gift.
And it's early enough to go out and enjoy the beautiful weather.
Exactly.
Go walk in. Bye, everybody.
Nice to see you all.
Wow.
All right, good.
I'm off for a date with Dr. Faustus on Radio 3.
Oh my God.
I hope I was villainous enough for you.
Yes.
He was smooth enough for us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's right. Yeah.
Think about that.
I think my Irish accent slipped into Scottish once or twice.
No, actually, Tony, we were talking Kathy and I were talking about it. You hit exactly.
Oh, so it helped the plot so much. It was so great.
It really did. You helped it make sense in a way that when we were working on the translation, it didn't quite make sense.
Exactly.
I think it's a better play than I thought it was.
And like I said, this is the Zoom premiere.
It is the Zoom premiere. And in point of fact, I don't know what you thought, Paula, but I thought that you and Ben actually made the opening scene work really well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When we were doing the translation, we had terrible trouble because it was just sort of basically two people telling the audience the story so far.
Too expository. Too much backstory.
Well, it's certainly come a long way.
Yes.
I mean, the two of you have done just a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Really lovely.
Yeah. Well, now, in fact, what we've decided is I'm going to ask Paul, when we do move into the libraries, if we can actually do it live with everybody in the same room, because I think that some of the heightened emotion will get even more heightened. You know, I think playing with, actually being able to talk to somebody while you're playing some of these scenes, it was really impressive. And actually, I disagree with the comment made during I don't know who made it, during the intermission, which was, I actually don't think it does sound very much like Moliere. In many ways, I think that it looks forward more than it looks back. But that could also be, part of the issue to do with the translation. I don't know. Subject for discussion.
Yeah, because Beaumarchais never intended this to be a farce, like Moliere intended his plays to be farces.
No, it's not really. I mean,
Also, I think there's a greater depth of character in this.
Well, you might say that Beaumarchais matured during his Figaro trilogy. He began very lightheartedly with The Marriage of Figaro.
Well,
he kept some of the lightheartedness, but mixed it with seriousness in the marriage.
It's actually written as an opera libretto. He wrote it as an operatic libretto for a musical. And then 10 years later, Figaro was much more intended as a political statement.
You don't know that the first composer, he sabotaged Rossini's first night.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Paisiello.
He hated every other composer's work but his own. So he hired people to jeer and whistle throughout the performance, and then supposedly he set a cat to walk across the stage in Act 3.
I can talk both. Kathy and I both remember we both worked at the Met when there was still a claque that was being paid every night.
Rossini, when this was all going on, Rossini slipped out of the theater and went home, but apparently it didn't seem to bother him much because the story goes that he had a peaceful night's sleep.
Uh-huh.
But the next night was fine because all the people Paisiello paid off stayed home.
Yeah.
So it was much better reception.
We actually did a performance of The Barber of Seville in the theater in Minneapolis when we were on tour. And during the second act, go back to your cat, we did it as a matinee. And during the lesson scene, a bat flew down out of the fly floor and started flying around the stage. And finally, our Hungarian mezzo-soprano couldn't continue singing a really quite a contra and core. It's quite a complicated aria, and she just couldn't continue. And she started laughing, and the whole thing just came to a ground. The bat was flying around before it flew out of the. You had the sense to open the back door so it could fly out.
On that note, I shall make my departure.
Okay, well,
afternoon all.
Have fun with Dr. Faustus.
Enjoy your Marlowe.
I will.
And we'll see you again